President of the Weslaco ISD Board of Trustees. This special board meeting is being conducted pursuant to Governor Gray Abbott's suspension of certain open meeting law requirements to the extent necessary to allow for telephonic and video conference meetings in response to COVID-19. Notice of this meeting has been posted online for at least 72 hours. The board is meeting by the use of Google Meets and telephone transmission, which allows two-way communication for members of the public during public comments. A recording of this meeting is being made and will be available to the public at a later date. The time now is 5:37, and I call this meeting to order. I'll now begin the roll call. Call this board member by name, and signify your presence by saying aye or present when I call your name. Mr. Isidoro Nieto.
Present.
Jackie Sustaita.
Present.
Ochesi Trevino.
Present.
Dr. Jaime Rodriguez. Mr. Mark de los Santos. And Mr. Andrew Gonzalez.
Present.
Let the record show that a quorum of board members are in attendance. Item 3, public comments.
There are none.
We have none. Item 4, discussion and possible action for the board to consider approval of the WISD Student Handbook for the 2021-2022 school year. Dr. Valdez.
Mr. President, the handbook is the Texas Association of School Boards Model Student Handbook, and is aligned to the Weslaco ISD Board policy. This handbook is for all of our WISD schools. We are recommending your approval. We have Dr. Sergio Garcia available for you should you have any questions.
Move to approve.
I
Second.
have a motion to approve by Mr. Gonzalez
Yes,
and a second by Mr. Nieto to approve the student handbook for the 21-22 school year. Do we have any discussion?
Yes, I do have some questions. If Dr. Garcia would be kind enough to help me out. As I was looking through this, Dr. Garcia, I noticed that this is obviously for 21-22 school year. So the students and the parents, if they have this handbook available, are going to go into this handbook to answer questions they may have. But we're not being specific on any COVID-related absences or any COVID-related procedures in this handbook. Did we do that because we're not sure, or are we going to update it as we need to? What are the procedures that we should do with that?
That is correct. Excuse me. That is correct, Ms. Ustaita, because everything is so fluid. You know, we don't want to put anything on the student handbook until we get more guidance, but we can add supplements to the, to the handbook later on in forms of, addendums and things like that. So yes, we will still provide information to the campuses as they become available to us.
Correct.
As a parent, I'm sorry, go ahead.
We could also create an administrative practices guideline or handbook for administration in order to meet as far as to communicate like the expectations with COVID-19 protocols. So we could establish an administrative practices handbook.
That'll be good. I know sometimes it's hard, you really honestly don't go and pull a handbook out and go look to see what the questions are, but I know people do look online a lot. They use our website. So as a parent myself, and I said, I wonder what information are we putting out there? Because I want to know as a parent myself. So I went online, I was looking through our website, and I noticed that a lot of our information is very outdated on our website. I was trying to click on the link for the frequently asked questions. Under the COVID, there is no link. So there's really nothing to click on. Once you go to the frequently asked questions, we have a lot of questions. Those pictures that we put out last week on social media about what Weslaco ISD will be doing would be a great visual to put under those frequently asked questions, but there is no link under the frequently asked questions on our website. And I also noticed that the back to school plan of action that we have on our website is also outdated. I guess we uploaded it in June. I think June 16 was the date that it said on there, but it's pretty outdated with new CDC guidance is out there, and it has the old one from December still on there. Can parents want to know? So.
Yes, Mrs. Staita, things have been changing rapidly, so we just
of course, with the board action that y'all took on Friday to adhere to the county mandate, that's another thing we have to go back and update. So we had a meeting today with the public information team and KWES. So we're working on an all-around COVID communications plan, so that way all information is disseminated from one source, which is going to be KWES and/or public information. They're diligently working to update everything. So that plan that you referred to, again, it was already ready to go, and we had to go back and fix it to address the mask issue. So as quickly as things are changing and as fluid as the situation is, but we should get that up hopefully within the next day or two.
Okay, I know there's a ticker also at the very top of the webpage that, flashes different pictures up, and right now has school supplies or donations. Just easily accessible information for the parents, because, the handbook might not be easily accessible, but the website definitely is. So that's just my suggestion for us, that we can just make sure that we're updated on our website.
Thank you for those recommendations, Ms. Ustaita. We are
Yes,
going
sir.
to be working on them.
Thank you very much.
And we'll provide that on Friday's update, as far as all the updated information that the team will be providing the parents, staff, and community.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you all. Any further discussion? If not, let's take it to a vote.
I would just want to make sure that we re-emphasize our grading scales that we use in our schools. For instance, your major assessment, your elementary, middle school, high school, exam test, projects, portfolios, benchmarks, CBAs, 40%. And the minor assessments, your quiz presentations. Make sure, since this is what we're supposed to be following, I think we derive from this. We're not following this to the T.
Okay, we'll make
So,
sure that we communicate that with
We get
the
that message out
schools.
there.
You're talking about the weighted grades or scores for each
Yes,
assignment or homework or assessment, CBA, so forth, yes.
yes,
Okay, will do, Coach. Thank you.
yes.
Okay, let's take it to a vote. Signify your approval by saying aye when I call your name. Then no if you don't approve. Mr. Nieto?
Aye.
Mr. Nieto, okay. Ms. Yagis Ustaita?
Aye.
Coach Jackie Trevino?
Aye.
Mr. Andrew Gonzalez?
Aye.
Motion carries. Item 5, discussion and possible action for the board to consider approval of the WISD Student Code of Conduct for the 2021-2022 school year. Dr. Valdez?
Mr. President, Chapter 37 of the Texas Education Code mandates that school districts develop and adopt a student code of conduct. And so administration is recommending your approval, and we have aligned, we use the TASB model student code of conduct, and of course, we align it to our district policy, so we're recommending approval.
So move.
We have a motion by Mr. Nieto
Second.
and a second by Mr. Gonzalez to approve the student code of conduct for WISD for the school year 2021-2022. Any discussion?
Mr. Elan, looking at the college classes, college courses, I know some of our athletes, and that's what I'm going to refer to since they're the ones that are getting hammered by this. Right now, all your regular classes, we are on a 6 weeks UIL pass-fail eligibility.
Yes, sir.
College classes, I believe, it was going to be implemented where for college classes, they will not follow that, because in college, it's either you get the grade at the beginning and then you get the grade at the semester. So throughout the 6 weeks, I think a lot of the times kids are getting a false reading, because wherever you're at the 6 weeks mark may not be where you finish at the end of the mark. So I believe there was something in discussion already towards the end of the year where that was going to be something that was going to change.
So that's a very good question, and that's something that has come up. So we're going to be getting with our AD, the high school principals, and we're going to be looking at that and be bringing, as long as we're following through with the recommended guidelines, and scheduling timelines for the college courses, it is on a different timeline,
Yes.
but we are going to be discussing that, and we'll provide the board with an update.
And we've already started those talks, and it's my understanding the district had currently set that at a 60, but because your concurrent enrollment or dual enrollment courses, it's a semester grade right at the end of the
Correct.
fall semester.
Correct.
So we're looking at not having an established grade because of that fact, right? They
Yes.
can't give them a grade at the end of the first 6
Yes.
weeks or at the end of each reporting period. So we're already working on that.
Okay, good.
Good deal. Because that's
We'll
really
provide you the
important.
update.
Yeah,
Yeah,
It's
we'll
really
provide you the
important, and
update.
it does
Yeah.
kind of
Absolutely.
hurt, it does kind of hurt some of our students that Coach Jesse's bringing up, because that was some of the concerns last year. Brought up, they do their regular school work, they go after school, participate in their UIL activities, and then go to the college to get those hours in. And before you know it, it's probably 1 or 2 in the morning, they got to go to sleep, get back to school by 5. So please, continue to work diligently to get to the end of that, but yeah, they shouldn't be penalized when they're trying to go over and beyond.
Correct. And we will provide you an update on the latest as far as the district's next steps with that.
Okay.
But we're working ASAP on that.
Thank you.
Yeah, some questions keep coming up, so we just want to make sure that we answer all those questions, and we'll get them ironed out for you.
Well, I think our kids are going above and beyond, like, taking these college courses, so.
Yep.
So when they're being held to a different standard, it's, because none of your regular students really, not that they don't care, but it's not important, or, not that it's not important, but nobody's checking their grades their first 6 weeks, second 6 weeks through a college semester, except for athletics. So I think that's where it affects some of these kids, and it could disencourage some of these kids from taking these classes too.
Correct.
So, okay.
Good afternoon, Board. So yes, I'm in discussion with both athletic coordinators and both principals, so something we're looking at, and hopefully we have something on the update pretty soon, but we are looking at that very closely, Coach.
Okay, good. Thank you, guys.
Thank you. Okay, let's take this item take it to a vote. Signify your approval by saying aye, or no if you don't approve. Mr. Isidoro Nieto.
Aye.
Mrs. Jackie Staita.
Aye.
Jose Trevino.
Aye.
And Mr. Andrew Gonzalez.
Aye.
Motion carries. Item 6, discussing a possible action for the board to consider approval of proposal award for specific and aggregate stop-loss insurance for the district's self-funded employee benefit program, RFP number 21-07-37. Dr. Valdez.
Specific and aggregate stop loss is an integral component of the district's self-funded employee benefit program, and so the district funds all medical and prescription claims for each employee up to $125,000. Administration is recommending your approval. We do have Mr. Mike De La Rosa available for any questions.
I'll move to approve.
Okay, we have a motion to approve by Mr. Andrew Gonzalez,
Second?
second by Coach Trevino. Do we have any discussion?
Yes. Mr. De La Rosa, can you explain what the lasers mean? So that our community and everybody here knows exactly what the lasers mean?
Yes, so as Dr. Valdez mentions, currently we assume all liability for each claim up to $125,000. We're going to have to move that, and that's part of the rationale to $150,000. But a laser basically means the insurance company is signaling out a specific employee with high dollar medical claims. So they'll say, okay, instead of your deductible to be $150,000 or $125,000 for this individual, it's going to be $500,000, or it's going to be $750,000. So they do that to limit their exposure.
Mr. De La Rosa, Blue Cross didn't submit an offer?
Excuse me?
Blue Cross?
Yes, they did, but their offer excluded RX coverage or prescription drugs coverage.
Oh, okay.
So
Mike, how many más o menos do we have in employees that went over the current stop loss?
as of June of at the end of this past June, there was 19 employees who went over the specific deductible. And there's around 25 that are high dollar claimants.
So in discussing what you just discussed as far as the lasers, basically like this other company that has 16 lasers, That's, let's say, 16 out of the 19 that already went over, they've already
They're basically,
specified, saying, hey,
they're
y'all are
already
gonna
saying
have to
that,
pay
yes. Sorry.
X amount of dollars, the $500,750.
That every single employee on that list is going to have a higher deductible
Okay.
than the 125 or 150.
Okay. Thank you. That's all for me.
So I'm looking at the chart. Currently, right now, we have Blue Cross Blue Shield as the one who provides the stop-loss insurance, correct?
That's correct.
So then it would, if we would go with somebody else, it would be either Blue Cross Blue Shield, who's currently here, or Sun Life?
We're recommending Sun Life, yes, that is a recommended company.
Now, I see on the notes on the bottom, there's a number there, dollar number, and then there's a percentage number under notes. What exactly, because on the current one, I don't see that under notes.
So on the very last number, that is the percentage of increase over what we're currently paying. That is the increase in premium. And then, of course, the other notes are, again, however many lasers the company identified. And as I advised Mr. Gonzalez, the Blue Cross and Blue Shield quote did not include prescription drug coverages. So, and we do have, employees that do take prescriptions that are very, very expensive. So we would definitely want that to be added to our deductible. We would
So-
definitely want those drugs covered.
It's going to cost 13% more, but the deductible goes from $125,000 to $150,000.
That's correct.
And what exactly does advanced funding available mean?
That means that if there's an employee or not necessarily employee, but anybody who's on the plan that they identify as a high-cost claimant, for example, if they identify somebody that needs a transplant, okay, and then they'll say, okay, well, we'll advance fund this claim, which means that we'll give you, say, $50,000, $100,000, $200,000 in advance, so you can pay for these bills as they come in.
And as you explained, the lasers, we want the best possible would be 0 lasers.
Correct.
So 2 lasers here compared to the other options is, I guess, the best.
Yes, the premium, as you can see, is a little bit less, $113.98 versus $119.97, but again, they identify 5 lasers versus 2.
Any further discussion?
This is your recommendation, correct?
That's correct.
Okay.
Are we good to go? Okay. Well, let's take it to a vote. Signify your approval by saying aye when I call your name. Mr. Garcia Nieto.
Aye.
Mrs. Jackie Staita.
Aye.
Coach Jesse Trevino.
Aye.
And Mr. Andrew Gonzalez.
Aye.
Okay, motion carries. Item 7. Discussion and possible action for the board to consider renewal of the district's employee voluntary insurance product or authorize administration to solicit proposals for same RFP number 21-10-08. Dr. Valdez.
Last year, the district conducted a request for proposals and RFP for voluntary employee benefits, which include accident, cancer, disability, critical illness, hospital indemnity, GAP, and term life and AD&D, which is accidental death and dismemberment insurance and vision. And so administration recommends that the board approve the renewal of the voluntary insurance products for RFP number 21-10-08.
I move to approve.
We have a motion by Mr. Gonzalez to approve,
We get a second.
a second by Mr. Garcia Nieto.
Yes, sir.
To approve the district's employee voluntary insurance products or to approve. So that's what we motioned and second. Do we have any discussion?
I have questions, just to clarify. I'm seeing here in the rationale, it's the RFP, the district request proposals for 1 year with the option to renew for 2 additional 1-year terms. So we're renewing right now the second year, or what are we renewing?
So when we go out for RFPs, we award it, and then we have the option to renew for 2 additional 1-year terms. So this would be year 2.
correct.
So, okay, so this will be the last, in other words.
Actually, I'd bring it back to the board next year and whether or not to extend or go out to bid.
Okay. And now, as I understand, voluntary products are 100% paid for by the employees. The district has really nothing to do with it. We just kind of are the middleman. But it's 100% paid for by our employees because it's voluntary, correct?
Correct.
So all these products here that we have, accident, cancer, critical illness down the line, these are all because the employee can or cannot pick them. But are any of these, they're not included in Blue Cross Blue Shield in the health? Like, for example, the cancer or vision, they're not part of that package?
No, the Blue Cross and Blue Shield is a health insurance or third-party administrator for our health insurance. So if you do get cancer, yes, it is covered under our health plan. What this product does is it provides supplemental monies to help you with, say, traveling expenses, or to help you pay bills, or to help you with your deductibles, co-insurance, things like that.
Okay.
Kind of like an Aflac for cancer.
Mike.
Let me see that.
And just towards the end here, it says that they renewed at flat rate, so there was no rate
There's no
increase to
increase.
these products?
Correct.
For the employees, okay.
My only concern here is wanting to go out. I mean, I want to go out. I want to see what else is out there, see if the market is more competitive. Yeah, that's my take, because I sit here, why are we, like voluntary product, the first one, accident, United Healthcare, we have 3 serving agents. Wouldn't it be easier to have one agent for that one agent for the cancer, one agent for the critical illness, instead of having 3 options?
That's with what the board selected, so my department will work with whatever the board wishes.
It just, to me, it's complicated, especially being when I was selecting these products, you got 3 different vendors. Now, I noticed some of these, I was sent emails in November, December, when these products were getting put out, where people are soliciting their stuff. Is that normal, or are they supposed to do that?
Well, when the open enrollment happens, the agents go to the campuses, and the agents, there's, again, 3, as you mentioned, they're all selling the same product, or they're all enrolling the same product. So they should only be enrolling or presenting, if you will, the products that are outlined here.
But they have access to our emails? They're soliciting on the emails. They're, hey, encouraging teachers to sign up, we're offering this or whatever?
Yes, since they were named the agents, they do have people's email address, so they do send out reminders, to come to open enrollment, because once you miss that window, and if you miss it, and it come January 1 when they're effective, if you don't get it, or if you don't re-enroll, then you lose it for the next year.
But I would imagine that email should come from your office.
It does.
But there was emails being sent by some of these vendors.
Yes, there were.
So there's nothing wrong with that, or?
I mean, we prefer that things come from our office, but again, since they were selected and appointed by the board, that is within their purview to do if they were so inclined. Yes, we prefer that all communications come from my office, but there were some communications that came, and it wasn't, I don't believe they were soliciting, I believe they were just reminding people to sign up for open enrollment.
Well, I received notification. Obviously, it came across as it being derogatory or just negative, where somebody's pushing their product out there instead of, that's the message that was sent out to people, and that's what got back to me.
I don't.
Now that he says
I'd have to go
product,
back and look, but I believe that they were all just reminders to go to open enrollment, and they were sent to the individuals that hadn't shown up yet.
Now that he says product, my question is, because there are 3 different agents on here. So they're all selling the same product for the same price.
Correct.
So it doesn't matter. Eeny, meeny, miny, mo, pick whoever you want. It's
Correct.
the same thing.
So when the employee sits down in front of an agent, it really doesn't matter what firm they're working for, because they're all presenting the same product. And then those products were approved by the board, that were approved by the insurance committee, brought to the board for approval, and those were approved. So everybody's paying the same across the board. So if you buy a cancer insurance product from, it doesn't matter which agent you buy it from, or which agent is actually you sit down in at open enrollment, it's the same product.
And all these are voluntary products, correct?
Right.
Correct.
100% paid for, but, so really I can tell any insurance company, hey, guys, you know, this insurance company also sells voluntary products, but we're just limiting them to these three.
Actually, these are the only agents that we give access to our campuses.
That's what I'm saying. We're only giving access to these three agents
Yeah.
to work with our employees.
Yeah, and then
Nobody
these-
else has access to come in.
Correct. Now, an independent insurance agent can come and sell their own product, but they'd have to go through the business office, get the form to allow them to go on campus, but then again, they're just limited to, say, and that's at the discretion of the principal, to say in the teacher's lounge, we have a lot of individuals that go sell annuities like that, but they cannot sell these products, and they have to be direct bank, if you will. They can't go through payroll deduct, and they can't participate in the Section 125 plan, which is the pre-tax items that we have here.
Now, did Mr. Gonzalez, did you make the motion to accept?
Monday, Coach?
Did you make the motion to accept?
I made the motion to accept, yes.
Now, let me ask you this, Mr. Gonzalez, aren't you related to the Ivan Ortegon insurance?
Yes, she's married to my cousin. It doesn't fall under the nepotism, and
No?
I'm not their agent. No, sir.
Okay, I just want to make sure.
If you want me to, just to protect you.
Monday?
I can answer that, just to
Okay,
protect
thank you.
He can vote, because it's not a brother.
It's not a
sister.
fr-
Yes, he can vote.
Okay, I just want to make sure, so we make sure we
No, no,
stay
that's fine,
through
Coach.
that.
I researched it this afternoon, Coach.
Okay.
He can vote.
No, but that's a good question to ask, so that
Yeah,
if
yeah, no,
there's any
that's fine.
concerns. And the only other thing that I'll add is, the concerns that Coach brings up is, we know that it's important to have coverage, and it's better to have it not need it than to need it and not have it. But to follow the protocol for, how you approach the staff for Weslaco ISD.
Certainly, Coach.
So,
Agreed.
I see here it says it is the board's discretion to renew all our individual voluntary insurance products. So we're looking at the product, not at the agent, correct?
That's correct, because the products were awarded to these specific agents. So if you wanted to take one out to bid, or two, or all of them, it's up to you all.
Okay. Because I'm just thinking, I want to be fair about everything, and I don't want to hear, well, those people have been there for so many years. I don't know. I haven't been here. I'm not in the political scene. But what I'm saying is, are we being fair with our community in terms of spreading what we're doing amongst the whole community?
I'm not sure what your question is, Mrs. Taita.
Well, it says here, it's the board's discretion to renew, and you're saying that the product comes with the agent.
Yes, yes.
So I can't say, oh, well, I want to keep cancer, but I want a different agent. Well, I can't say that because that product comes with this agent.
You could do that, but that would have to be a separate item that you could bring forth later, and I'll let
Yeah.
Mr.
I just
Sisulu
want to be
talk that.
fair and for our community. And I don't know how many years these people have been servicing Weslaco ISD, but how many years have they been serving Weslaco ISD?
I believe the last 3 or 4 years, off the top of my head. I'd have to go back and dig a
Mm-hmm.
little bit more, but there have been different agents throughout the years.
I was going to ask you, how many different agents, how often would we switch voluntary products
It
around?
depends. Normally voluntary products, the majority of the time, we extend for the duration of the time period, or for the RFP is awarded. Unless there's some really gross conduct by one of the companies, or, one of the agents, then the administration will recommend, hey, we need to get rid of this product because we've been having problems with it. And that's been done before. So it's over the last years, it's been different people, different agents. These individuals here, they've been with us for probably about 3-4 years.
Okay. And you're saying one more year with these products, and then we will be able to go out again?
Or you can go out now. The agenda is written either or. So we'll work with whoever,
okay, but right now, we have the motion to
there's a motion to renew.
to renew, so. More discussion? Okay, let's take it to a vote. Signify your approval, say aye when I call your name. Mr. Isidro Nieto.
Aye.
Ms. Jackie Staita,
I'll abstain.
abstain. Coach David Trevino,
I'm going to abstain as well, and I want to make sure it goes on record. I just want to see more, I want to make sure we're getting the best prices. And right now, just going with the following, or going with the same stuff that was credited last year or given last year. So I'm going to abstain.
Okay, Mr. Andrew Gonzalez?
Aye.
And the chair votes aye, so motion carries. Item 8. Let's see. Discussion and possible action for the board to consider renewal of the district's employee voluntary whole life insurance product or authorize administration to solicit proposals for the same RFP number 21-10-15. Dr. Valdez.
Last year, the Weslaco ISD Board of Trustees opted to solicit a request for proposals and RFP for whole life insurance as an option to the employee's voluntary benefit program. After evaluation, Allstate was recommended as submitted by Jeff Everett and Associates, Tamez Financial Group, and Ortegon Insurance. Administration recommends the approval of the renewal of the district whole life insurance product with Allstate RFP number 21-10-10.
I make a motion to authorize administration to solicit proposals.
Okay, we have a motion by Costarino to solicit proposals for the same RFP 21-10-15. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Okay, we have a second by Ms. Saita. Any discussion?
My question is, why do we have the same three agents here?
Again, this RFP was separate and apart from the RFP that you just approved at the last item. So again, another proposal was conducted. Valley Risk and myself, we evaluated the proposals, the products, and recommended Allstate. And then again, the selection of the agents is up to the board.
And that was the low bid for this whole life insurance?
The rate stayed the same, is what it says here?
That's correct.
So the product got approved, but we name, or not we, I guess the previous board named these three agents to take care of this, or?
On this particular product, these three agents came or were attached to this proposal. But then again, it's up to the board to select 1, 2, or 3, or somebody else. And these were the agents that were selected.
Just, to me, it just seems like everything else, when we place people in jobs, we place people here on this, we're placing people instead of people bidding the product and following the proper procedures for bidding and actually bidding the correct price.
No, the price.
Or the lowest price.
Yeah, all the proposals are evaluated based on premium, age banded, and Allstate was the best or the most competitive of all the proposals that were submitted. And then again, like the previous one, separate and apart, we recommend products. It's up to the board to select agents.
So, if I'm correct here, so one of these agents won the bid for Allstate?
So when you go out to bid for these types of products, so a company, whether it be Allstate or Prudential or any other insurance company that you want, they can submit names of agents on their proposal. So the proposal will come in and say, we're submitting this product, we're submitting under, say, these 3 individuals, or it could be other individuals. That's who they are submitting the bid under, that's who they choose to work with. But at the end of the day, it's at the discretion of the board, 1 agent, 3 agents, 5 agents, it's up to you guys.
So did this whole life insurance recommend these 3 agents be on the proposal? Or did that come from the board?
They're tied to this RFP, yes. So the product was awarded, which was Allstate, and then the selection of the agents was done, and these were the agents that were selected.
So the RFP, they submitted it as in a group, like this is our proposal, we're submitting it together, us 3. How many proposals did you get?
I don't remember.
Usually it says it on here.
I don't remember right off the top of my head, but there were several proposals, about 8 or 9. Roger, do you remember?
Okay, because usually when you give us the proposals, they tell us how many were, sent out, how many were responded, how many, just to have estimate and see
When
who
we-
responded.
It's been standard practice when we bring something to y'all for approval for awardal, we'll list out how many came in, how many different options, et cetera, but this is just a renewal. We're just asking you to renew this one because since it's already been awarded.
Okay. So if we would say, we want you guys to go out and solicit proposals for the same RFP, will our employees be faced without insurance coverage?
No, well, that's why we bring it to the board so early, so we can, so if the board is inclined to solicit proposals, there's enough time to conduct an RFP, there's enough time to evaluate, and there's enough time to bring the proposals back with a recommendation to select before open enrollment, which is usually in late October, runs through the month of November and early December.
Can you give us, for example, well, obviously, we're going to go up to vote right now, but the way you did on the other item where you listed the chart where we can see how they differ from each other? Because here there is no chart where we can compare this proposal to other proposals?
Again, because it's a renewal,
Because
it's not an
yeah.
award, so there's nothing to compare. This is the product that was awarded.
I see, yeah, oh, yeah, you're right.
It's when we go out for
Right.
RFQs that we list.
When we go out for RFPs, then we'll bring it back like we did with Stallman. We'll give you a breakdown of.
You're right. So we might be getting a better price, might or might not, than
Yeah.
this here.
It's possible. I think the consistency is important more than anything else, but, there may be better offers, there may not.
I think now with COVID situations, I think it'd be difficult to be less, speaking just in general.
And that being considered, your recommendation is to consider the renewal, right?
That's correct.
That's what you're recommending,
That's correct.
given the experience you've had before and where we are at this point of the
Yes,
school
Coach.
year.
Again, this is year 2, so it's standard practice to recommend a renewal. We haven't had any issues, at least I haven't heard of any.
Okay.
So continuity, if you will, is what we're looking for.
Any further discussion? If not, let's take it to a vote. We had the motion and a second to go out for proposals. Take it to a vote. Mr. Nieto?
No,
No?
correct, no.
Ms. Jackson-Staita?
Aye.
Coach Trevino?
Aye.
Mr. Gonzalez?
No.
No, and the chair votes no. Motion fails.
I make a motion to approve administration's recommendation.
In a second.
Okay, we have a motion by Mr. Gonzalez to approve the recommendation by administration, and a second by Mr. Nieto. Any discussion?
I'm still,
Mike,
right
can
here.
you,
Sorry, go ahead.
Mike, if this passes, can you let our employees know that they do have the option to increase the value of their life insurance?
On this particular one, I believe it's maxed at
It's maxed at 25?
Yes,
Okay.
since it's a whole life product.
Okay, that's fine then.
I know it's a renewal, but the way I'm reading it, it says here, last year, the Weslaco ISD Board of Trustees opted to solicit a request for proposals for whole life insurance. After evaluation of those proposals, Allstate was recommended, right?
Correct.
So I guess that's what I was wondering. Okay, you went out for proposals, here's one, but where's the other ones? That's why I was asking
Oh.
with this rationale. But last year, meaning
2020, or it was 2019, actually it went out in 2019 because it was effective January 1st of 2020. So it was
That's
all
where
this-
I was confused.
It was all this
Okay.
calendar year.
Okay.
So back when it was awarded, yes, all the different options were laid out and the prices.
In a previous meeting, okay.
Correct.
Because the way I'm reading it here, it makes it sound like, here they are, the proposals.
Did you get your answer, Ms. Staita?
Yes, sir.
Let's move on. We had the motion by Mr. Gonzalez, second by Mr. Nieto, to consider the renewal of the district's employee voluntary whole life insurance. Let's take it to a vote. Signify your approval by saying aye when I call your name, or no if you don't approve. Mr. Nieto?
Aye.
Ms. Jackson-Staita?
Aye.
Jose Trevino?
I'm going to abstain again because, and I wanted to go on record, when we sit here and handpick people as the board, I think we take the credibility or the system out of a true bid, or I just think that's wrong when we sit here and handpick.
You got a chance to discuss, Coach. Okay, Mr.
Well, I can abstain and make that,
Yes.
so that's what I did.
Am I in order to move on? Okay. I just want to make sure. I don't want to take away anything from anybody, but we are voting. Mr. Gonzalez?
Aye.
Motion carries. Item 9. Discussion and possible action for the board to approve a resolution regarding extension of leave for COVID-19. Dr. Valdez?
Mr. President, the Family First Coronavirus Response Act provided for emergency paid leave for COVID-19 related reasons, and that expired December 31st, 2020. And that same month, the board then approved a resolution to extend COVID leave. We are recommending approval of a resolution to extend certain leave benefits relating to COVID-19 for the 2021-2022 school year.
Make a motion to approve?
Second.
Okay, we have a motion by Ms. Jackie Saita and a second by Mr. Andrew Gonzalez to approve a resolution regarding extension of leave for COVID-19. We have a discussion.
Yes, I've been getting a lot of questions about this one. And the question is, when are we going to be able to use these days? Some people started this school year in June, have already been sick, they've been out with COVID. Will they still be eligible even though we approve it tonight to use those?
What we would have to do, and HR and payroll are going to probably shoot me, but yes, we would have to go back. So if an employee had used, say, because it's approved for this school year, so some people started, back in July.
Right.
And they'd had to take those days. So we would have to go back and credit or swap out those days, so that way their personal leave balance would
Yes, that makes
get that
sense
back.
because it's part of the school year.
Right.
yes, correct.
So
Okay.
do we have to have a retroactive, a date, or we're okay by HR doing that particular area?
It's written in the resolution to start at the beginning of the school year. So the beginning of the school year is different for different employees.
And Jackie mentioned, like, there's teachers, staff started last week, but there's some already that
Yes.
had to be out.
There have been.
Yes.
Yes, Coach, there will
Yes.
be.
Mike, just a quick.
Okay.
Ms. Jackie, was that your last question?
Yes.
Mike, real quick, if we have a teacher, right, that falls in this category, will their student, if they have a child in class, Dr. Valdez, maybe you can answer, will they be allowed to stay home and do virtual learning due to mom or dad? And I know this is where what we approved with the mandate and what the state has said as far as.
We'd have to do a little bit of research, but I think I can say that would not be allowed based on current TEA and state
Right.
guidelines. There is no remote learning.
Yeah, so, because that was a question I received, was if I'm mom or dad, the teacher, and I come out positive, normally if somebody's positive, then the whole household kind of stays isolated so that we don't spread it.
Can we add that to the resolution if we were in agreement as a board to say, yes, we will allow that based on the board's decision?
Or
Right.
does Dr. Valdez have to call Austin and find out first?
I think we would need guidance because
I
the
don't
guide,
know.
I just,
The research,
and I know
right,
it's
to
not here,
research.
maybe I shouldn't have asked it now and just directed Dr. Valdez after the meeting, but
research.
it's a question, and the
Correct.
parents are concerned, you
Dr.
know,
Valdez,
so
did you
I
have
know
any?
there's no virtual learning,
Right.
however, we don't also want to spread it to anybody else and take,
That's correct.
precautionary measures. So if mom or dad who's employed by the district and they have a son or daughter in our district, I would think common sense tells us stay home.
Stay home.
Isolate, get better, and then you come back. So if y'all can just follow up with
Yes,
TEA
we will,
guidelines,
on
please.
the guidelines we'll have to do some research.
yeah, because the way I understand it right now,
Right now, we
No,
can't.
that wouldn't be allowed.
yeah, I know right now is a
You know,
no, but
I know we can't, but I also know that, and everybody says, well, the ESSER, well, but that's part of the reason why we were given this grant to fund learning because of the pandemic, and how can we help the kids to stay safe due to the pandemic. So those ESSER funds should be being used for things like virtual learning, learning loss, and for these kids to be sick at home or their parents, can we not look into this to see how can we use that?
I believe all the ESSER funds have already been earmarked, but I'll let Mr. Aguilar.
Very good question, Mrs. Staita. Thank you for asking that question. We have been in discussions regarding the ESSER fund. So every fund that we have has already been earmarked for all the allocated monies that we have. Now, the only thing that's going to determine, one, if there's changes, we come back and we get with our committees, present to the board again, if there's going to be any changes or we want to make any adjustments. Two, the cost of goods is not the price that was earmarked, and that saves us some money. Or three, the positions that we have available, if those don't get filled, then we have monies available. But as far as everything that's been presented to the board, everything has been earmarked for all the funds.
Yeah, because I think if you go out to the community and do a survey, what do you think is more important, a roof or your kid's life? Well, 100%. So if we could reevaluate, because everything's changing daily, as we know, with this variant and vaccines, it's daily.
I think it's where Dr. Valdez comes in and talk to her peers and call, up to the state and find out, hey, we got to contain this, and the only way to contain it, we have mom and dad that have it. Child needs to stay home so that child doesn't spread it to another family, to another family, to another family, and so on.
Right.
So if y'all could just,
We can research some more
Please.
and provide an
I
update
think
on that.
At the end of the day, we all know that this is important to everybody in our district, having those 10 days to isolate. But same time, we got to take care of the kids, even though the state tells us, no, they have to come.
And just in researching today, I know that the Texas Virtual School Network for high schools is available for remote learning or conferencing. So that's an option that we need to study, because that is available only for high school. And you do receive full ADA, full day funding, but that's only high school level.
Yeah.
But that's an option that we're looking into.
And as a parent of elementary kids, pre-K to 6 with no vaccine is just very scary,
Yes.
As a parent with the
Yes.
elementary kids. But that would be a whole other item on another agenda of how we're going
Yeah.
to go through this virtual learning.
We'll continue
Emma?
examining and calling and crafting a plan and see what we can do as an option.
Okay, thank you.
We'll provide an update.
Appreciate it, thank you.
I know you guys are working hard. Lots of people say, well, no, they're not doing anything. If they only knew everything that goes on,
Yeah.
they have no idea. But guys,
you,
they're
gentlemen.
working hard at coming up with something.
There's a lot going on. That's correct.
Yes,
Thank you.
definitely.
Thank you, guys.
I would like to, Doctor, make sure we move on that with some urgency. I know getting a
Yes.
committee is altogether is tough, but move with some urgency since we are starting school next week. And, hopefully we can have some answers.
Will do, Coach.
Thank you.
Okay. Take it to a vote. Signify you approve by saying aye. No if you don't approve. Sir Cesar Nieto.
Aye.
Jackie Sustaita.
Aye.
Coach Jesse Trevino.
Aye.
Mr. Andrew Gonzalez.
Aye.
Motion carries. Item 10, discussing a possible action to authorize administration to file a claim regarding a settlement arising from a class action antitrust lawsuit called in reference Blue Cross Blue Shield Antitrust Litigation, MDL 2406 ND ALA, master file number 213 CV-20000-RDP. Dr. Valdez.
Administration is recommending that the board authorize administration to file a claim in the above referenced class action settlement. We do have Mike De La Rosa here for any questions that you may have.
I move to approve.
Okay, we have a motion by Mr. Andrew Gonzalez
Second.
and a second by Mr. Nieto.
Mike, can you just, sorry, Coach.
Okay, well, for the,
Mike, can you just, I was trying to get to the discussion, so that's why, can you just explain to us, please?
So what this is we received notice of a class action lawsuit was filed against Blue Cross and Blue Shield. It was an antitrust class action lawsuit. So long story short, as they say, Blue Cross settled, and so there was, I have it written down here, the amount of the settlement. So as a self-funded account that was with Blue Cross at the time period mentioned, we are eligible to file a claim. So we'd be, taking a piece of that class action suit, if you will. I don't have a number yet. We'd have to file a claim, and then it goes to the lawyers, and we would determine how much we'd get back.
And this is coming back to the district as a whole or to individual people?
No, it's coming back to the district.
The district, okay.
Thank you.
Okay. Any more discussion? Okay, we have the motion by Mr. Gonzalez, second by Mr. Nieto, authorizing administration to file a claim regarding the settlement arising from the class action lawsuit, antitrust lawsuit called in reference Blue Cross Blue Shield antitrust litigation MDL 2406 ND ALA master file number 213 CV 20000 RDP. Take it to a vote. Signify your approval by saying aye when I call your name. No if you don't approve. Mr. Isidro Nieto.
Aye.
Ms. Jackie Staita.
Aye.
Coach Jesse Trevino.
Aye.
And Mr. Andrew Gonzalez.
Aye.
Motion carries. Item 11, discussion and possible action for the board to consider approval of additional portable air cleaning units for use in school libraries, cafeterias, and gymnasiums. Dr. Valdez.
As you know, we have the situation regarding the coronavirus, our health pandemic, and the district's continuing concern to keep our students and staff safe. We are wanting to purchase up to 200 additional portable air cleaning units from Texas Air Products from McAllen, Texas, for the use in school libraries, cafeterias, and gymnasiums, and we're recommending approval.
So move to approve.
Okay, we have a motion by Mr. Nieto
Second.
and a second by Mr. Gonzalez to consider the approval of the additional portable air cleaning units for use in school libraries, cafeterias, gymnasiums. Do we have any discussion?
My only question is, and because these are the concerns that I've been hearing from the teachers more than anything, with the reduced, and this isn't about classrooms, but it's about the units. These are for the libraries, cafeteria, and gymnasiums, correct? The space in the classrooms to fit 20-something desks 3 feet apart, then we have a unit. What are we going to do, or do we have a plan to be able to fit kids in the classroom 3 feet apart, 20 kids with a unit?
Like a layout. Because I had a call also right along those lines, that we had a layout design for our teachers to how to space their desks and whatnot, along with that machine, so, I mean.
These machines can't hang, right? Like up in the.
Unfortunately.
They're right there.
No,
You can't
Too heavy
put
for
them.
yeah, and good evening, Dr. Valdez, Coach Cuellar, members of the board. So, yeah, the unit was selected primarily because of the noise level. So it is a variable unit, and the only way to get that noise level down is to open up the box, per se. So when we do increase the speed of that unit, it will get very loud. So it allows us to get it to a minimum where it's able to clean the air of a standard classroom, typical classroom, at least 4 times an hour, 15 minutes, every 15 minutes or so or less, with it being excessively quiet, very quiet. The trade-off is that, the size of the unit. We don't have a layout because not every classroom is identical. So we took an average size classroom and we sized the unit that way. So where we can, we're able to do social distancing, we're doing our best. The teachers, or at least are trying to do their best. We just had a principals meeting, came from there, and the principals had those questions as well. And so the other line of protection that we have is the desk shields, and that's why we have that extra protection. The desk shields, we're looking at the masks, and we're looking at the air cleaning units. But unfortunately, to answer your question, we don't have a one-size-fits-all layout for every classroom because of that.
Now, I remember in those days that it was raining in a hurricane. This weekend, of all weekends, right before school starts, we're expected to get heavy rain. I know that after school pickup area, and Mr. Aguilar probably remembers this, in Sam Houston, the hallway was packed with kids who couldn't walk out. I know that now most schools have the pavilions outside for the pickup area, but the winds come and the kids have to be in the hallway waiting to be picked up. Are these units mobile,
Yes.
obviously, so where they can be moved around to the hallways or wherever the high traffic areas are?
Yes, absolutely. They're pretty heavy units. They're big units, and that's why when we went out to the RFP for these units, we required, or part of the specifications was that they have the casters or the wheels on them. So they're very mobile. As a matter of fact, one of the concerns that we were having was that they're leaving classrooms when they're unattended because the units are being moved somewhere else, and then the teacher comes back and says, well, I don't have a unit in my classroom. So we're trying to make sure that we get a handle on that, but they're very mobile, just to make a point.
Okay.
They're able to take them out temporarily to the hallways and wherever they need them.
Good.
Thank you.
Americo, this company here, Texas Air Products, I know they're on our buy board. We ordered those previously from the same company?
Yes, so they're the ones, the manufacturer of the unit is Cook. That's the name of the manufacturer. So Texas Air Products is a representative, a distributor of this product for Cook. So Cook manufactures other products as well, and they go through Texas Air Products to sell this item.
Why do we have all these blanks categories here under quantity, current unit cost, total cost, estimated time of delivery?
Yes, Mr. Trevino, good afternoon.
Hello.
When we prepared the agenda item on Friday, we did not have the counts. We have
Okay.
numbers now to inform you. We had left out some classrooms on the initial count, and our cafeteria need more than we thought. So we ordered additional 140 already, which should be coming in the middle of September. And that should take care of that. But we have other areas that we have not addressed. That's why we need to add more. So as of right now, we need 139, but we want to check those numbers, make sure that we're not leaving anything out. So we spoke to, especially the high schools, and we spoke to both high school principals at the principal meeting, so we can have better numbers tomorrow. So right now, it's 139, maybe more. That's why we wanted approval up to 200. We won't buy the 200 unless we need it. And once we know exactly, we'll let you know to place the order.
Can you give us the cost in the open meeting of what?
Yes, oh, definitely. Yes, the unit is $1,750 each one.
How
So
much?
altogether, the total?
1,750,
Yeah.
1,750.
Altogether, if we buy the 200, it's $350,000.
350,000, that's
Yes.
coming from the ESSER
Yes,
funds.
yes.
Do you know when they would come in? I know the other order
Yeah.
is September,
The one, this ones will be 8 to 9 weeks,
8 to 9 weeks?
8 to 9 weeks from now. Yeah. The other 140, the first 64, they come in loads of 64. We'll leave whatever they're at on September 3rd. We expect it to get here by September the 8th. Then the following week, another 64, and the remaining 12 the following week. So between the September the 8th and the 24th, more or less, it should be here, the 140. This one will be here till the end of October, unfortunately.
Mr. Sanchez, do you have a total amount for all the portable air cleaning units that we've bought? How much in total have we spent already on all of them?
Up to the July meeting.
The other one was what, 140? We spent about $1.9 million.
A
The
million?
first purchase was about $1,700,000. The second one was around $200,000. I don't have the exact number, but 220 to something like that, plus this number.
And this is coming from ESSER 2 and ESSER 3, both? Or which one?
Most of it is S3.
Most of it is ESSER
Yes,
3.
This
So
order will be
63
probably
million.
S2.
Okay.
And with these 200, I know it's 200, but if you don't need the 200, obviously, you're not going to order
I'll
the
order
two.
what we need, yes.
How many units does that give us in total?
1,440 if we buy all 200.
Do they give a discount for buying big quantities?
Actually, it has
It's getting
increased.
enough. We did contact Texas Air Products to ask for a price range, say if we order only 50, 100, and so forth. They said it's $1,750. If you don't give us a PO by this week, the end of tomorrow, add another 5% because.
Price
they
will
keep-
increase,
Yeah,
yeah.
their price is increasing every other month, and they're telling us that by 5% is jumping.
So, Mr. Garza, for Monday, when we start school, every teacher has a purifier in the classroom, correct?
No,
yet?
unfortunately, no. At the high school, Weslaco High School was gonna be missing, about 50 of them,
Short?
yes.
Okay.
Yeah, but we're double checking the numbers, because we started with a lower number of teachers.
Right.
And double checking,
How about elementary? Since like.
all elementary will
Miss-
be covered in the middle schools.
Excuse me?
Elementary and middle school will be covered.
Okay,
West
because
Oklahoma.
a lot of the students are not vaccinated yet, like Miss Jackie mentioned, so.
Yeah. So
Okay,
you're about 50 short at the high schools?
Mhm.
Cada uno?
High school.
Only-
East is only about 10.
Okay, and then you're expecting 64 maybe by the 3rd, September the 3rd?
Yeah, within 2 weeks or 3 weeks, we should have.
And then
pretty much
another
covered.
64 after that?
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Okay.
No, within 2 weeks or 4, we'll have everything covered in the classrooms.
Okay.
In cafeteria.
We don't have any in buildings that aren't being used right now that we can
Yes.
move over?
Here's
We do
one,
like-
the
Okay,
pack, so we'll take those.
Right.
okay,
Yeah.
As soon as
To
we're
cover.
done with the meeting, we'll take them over there.
okay.
Okay.
Yeah, and this additional, again, as Ms. Sanchez mentioned, is to cover, areas such as the aquatics and additional units needed at the PAC and so forth, locker rooms, dressing rooms, and all that.
Okay.
If y'all logistically set up a plan to have them where they're gonna have the greater concentration of student or, human population?
Yes, so what we're doing, Coach, and that's part of this as well, the cafeterias we're targeting heavily for that, because if anything, if you want to call it that, any weakness in this shield of protection they're trying to build for every student would be that spot, the lunch hour, because that's where the students are eating without the mask, and they're pretty much crowded in that area. For the most part, in all campuses, it's difficult to do social distancing in that space. However, I know that most, if not all, elementary principals are doing some sort of rotations where they're holding kids back, and then they'll rotate them and bring them back to the cafeteria, where they're eating in the classrooms, and then maybe on certain days of the week, and then they bring them back to the cafeteria, and then keep another group to eat in the classrooms and so forth, to create more room in the cafeteria to do social distancing. Plus, we're adding the shields as well in the cafeterias. And plus, we're making sure that the air in the cafeteria is being cleaned at least, 15 minutes per air change. Yeah.
Thank you.
thank you, Medic.
Any more questions? Okay, thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Okay. Let's take this item to a vote. Signify your approval by saying aye when I call your name, or no if you don't approve. Let the record reflect that Mr. Mark de los Santos logged on at 6:31. Carlos,
6:31.
are you there, Mr. de los Santos?
Yes, sir, I am.
Okay, thank you, sir. Okay, Mr. Isidro Nieto?
Aye.
Ms. Jackie Staita?
Aye.
Coach Eddie Trevino?
Aye.
Trader Gonzalez?
Aye.
And Mr. Mark de los Santos?
Aye.
Motion carries. Item 12, closed meeting to discuss A, personnel matters, Texas Government Code 551.074. 1, employment of personnel, certified professional and non-contractual personnel. 2, resignations, retirements. 3, deliberation regarding the appointment, employment, evaluation, reassignment, duties, discipline, or dismissal of proposed termination of a district employee. 1, discussion of renewal of one-year contract for non-certified staff for the 2021-2022 school year. 2, deliberation regarding employment contract for Dr. Chris Valdez, interim superintendent of schools. B, consultation with attorney. A, pending or contemplated litigation. B, a settlement offer. Or C, a matter in which the duty of the attorney to the Weslaco ISD under the Texas disciplinary rules of professional conduct of the State Bar of Texas clearly conflicts with Chapter 551 of the Texas Government Code 551.071. The time now is 6:41, and we will go into closed meeting. And the board has reconvened in open session. With regard to the Level 3 grievance requested by Fernando and Isabel Cabrera, does any board member have a motion?
I make a motion to uphold the second level grievance.
Okay, we have a motion by Jesse Trevino to uphold the Level 2 grievance. Have a second.
I'll second.
A second by Mrs. Jackie Sustaita. Okay, let's take it to a vote. Signify your approval by saying aye or no if you disapprove. Mr. Nieto.
Aye.
Ms. Jackie Sustaita.
Aye.
Jose Trevino.
Aye.
Mr. Mark De Los Santos.
Aye.
Okay, motion carries. Next. A possible action, if necessary, on item discussed in the closed meeting. Discussion, number one. Discussion and possible action on new employment, certified professional and non-contractual personnel. Dr. Valdez.
Mr. President, administration recommends approval as discussed and presented in closed session.
Motion to approve.
We have a motion to approve by
De Los Santos.
Mr. Los Santos,
Second.
and a second by Coach Jesse Trevino. Is there any discussion necessary? If not, let's take it to a vote. Signify your approval by saying aye. Mr. Nieto.
Aye.
Dr. Saita.
Aye.
Jose Trevino.
Aye.
And Mr. Marcos Santos.
Aye.
Okay, motion carries. Item two, discussion and possible action on resignations. Dr. Valdez.
Administration recommends resignations as presented in closed session.
So move.
We have a motion by Mr. Nieto,
Second.
second by Mr. Los Santos. Take it to a vote. Signify your approval by saying aye when I call your name. Mr. Isidro Nieto.
Aye.
Ms. Jackie Staita.
Aye.
Dr. Coach Jesse Trevino.
Aye.
And Mr. Mark De Los Santos.
Aye.
Okay, motion carries. Item three, discussion and possible action on renewal of one-year contract for non-certified staff for the 2021-2022 school year. Dr. Valdez.
Administration recommends renewal of one-year contract for non-certified staff for the 2021-2022 school year as presented in closed session.
Motion to approve.
We have a motion
Second.
by Mr. Los Santos.
Second.
Second by Mrs. Jackie Sustaita. Take it to a vote. Signify your approval by saying aye when I call your name. Mr. Isidro Nieto.
Aye.
Ms. Jackie Sustaita.
Aye.
Coach Jesse Trevino.
Aye.
And Mr. Mark De Los Santos.
Aye.
Motion carries. Item four, discussion and possible action regarding employment contract for Dr. Chris Valdez, interim superintendent of schools.
Motion to approve.
We have a
Second.
motion by Mr. De Los Santos
Yes.
and a second by Mr. Isidro Nieto.
Nothing.
Okay? Any discussion? None? Take it to a vote. Signify your approval saying aye when I call your name. Mr. Isidro Nieto.
Aye.
Ms. Jackie Sustaita.
Aye.
Coach Trevino.
Aye.
And Mr. Mark De Los Santos.
Aye.
Motion carries. Item 14, adjournment. The time now is 8:15, and we are adjourned.